Yo, what's up, beautiful people? My name is Eastmond Mwenda. I'm the founder of TBE Productions. I've been a filmmaker for the past 6-7 years, and I've been able to do a lot of work over that period of time. Professionally, I've worked over the last 3-4 years, but my entire journey as a filmmaker has been about 7 years now. I do a lot of work in corporate currently, so a lot of corporate productions, corporate documentaries, and my team also offers photography. Over my time as a filmmaker, the whole 7-year period, I've done about 50 short films and 2 feature films entirely. So today we're talking about my first camera as a filmmaker. Over time I've been able to collect a lot of cameras, use a lot of cameras, and also just expose myself to different environments where I can shoot. Behind me is a collection of very beautiful cameras that I've used over the years, and I'm going to share them with you and show you why I'm calling the one I'm talking about my favorite filmmaking camera up to date. From that collection behind me, this was my first camera. This is the Canon 400D. This camera, I picked it up at my aunt's house. She had a collection of old stuff and I just found it there. This was back in 2017 and I picked it up. This camera does photos only, and it was my first DSLR ever. It worked with a lens called the Canon, the Sigma 18 to 200 millimeter. That's a lot. It's a humongous lens. Let me show you. So I paired the Canon 400D with the Sigma 18 to 200, and this was my first DSLR. I found it in my aunt's house, and it was a really good setup. It won't fit. Yeah, but this was more or less. This was more or less the setup. Yeah, so this is my first camera, and it taught me the basics of photography. This is my second DSLR, the Canon 600D. This camera had a flip screen, and I used this camera the longest as my DSLR. It was the camera that I learned video on, and I used this camera for about 4 years before switching. I did a lot of projects on this camera. I did documentaries, I did commercials for big companies, by the way. And the biggest thing I did with this camera is I shot my feature film called Mukami, my first feature film, in 2021. So I actually purchased a second one of these. So I had 2. So I was shooting like a 2-camera setup with this. So in case you don't know about Mukami, here's the trailer. So with the 600D, I paired that camera with the 24mm Pancake. And I also had a 50mm Yangno. The 50mm died, it was a plastic lens. And the 24mm I still use up to date. It's a very beautiful lens. But a lot of my films were actually shot on the 600D. So in real sense, gear doesn't matter. I won about 10 to 15 film awards, all with short films shot on the 600D. So the 600D is a solid beginner camera. This was the third DSLR I owned. This is the Canon 250D. This is the camera that changed my entire quality of image. This is when I realized that sometimes gear matters a little bit, just a little bit, like in regards to quality. A lot of the projects I did with the 600D could only go so far. There are ways I couldn't push it. There are things I didn't have. I didn't have 60 frames per second at 1080. I didn't have 4K that I couldn't use, which is what the 250 has. That's 4K, but you can't really use it. It has the Canon cripple hammer, so it's like unusable. It doesn't even focus well when you're in 4K. But yeah, anyway, story for another day. This was a touch screen, so I could like touch the screen and focus and just get that very fast autofocus. These are all the things I lacked in my previous camera, and apart from all that, it was very familiar to me because I'm still a Canon shooter. So this for me opened doors. For me, I've done a lot of work for social media, still in the corporate realm. So I've done a lot of corporate work on this, and this opened up doors for me in regards to real estate, videography and photography. A lot of the work I've done has been on this, and it has really opened doors in that regards. For real estate, I paired this with a 10 to 18 millimeter Canon, and for most of my corporate and social media work, I've paired it with the Sigma 18 to 35 f1.8, which has made this a little beast for me, and it's really taken the quality to the next level. This is a very crazy combination. If anyone owns the 250D or is planning on getting a 250D, pair it with this lens. You will not regret it. So this is actually my first mirrorless camera. This is the Canon R8. Reasons why I bought this camera. The main reason I actually switched is because this is full frame. Full frame capabilities allow me to do better in low light. It can charge wirelessly. It can stream live from the camera. It shoots 4K 60. It shoots 1080, 180. It shoots 10-bit color. I know I'm gonna rig this up into a super big thing. So I'm gonna come back to this video in like a year's time, and I'm gonna have a whole thing of I said it and here it is now. And basically this camera for me takes my work to the next level, because for me the way my plan for creation is set up is I'm really trying to get myself as much professional gear that I can learn to use but at the same time grow with for the long run. So right now I know with this camera I'm set up for the next 4-5 years. I won't need to switch bodies because this can hold me down for a minute. And considering I'm going back into the film space, this is it. This is it. So the camera bodies I had previously had their limitations and places where they couldn't break forth. But I feel like with this, I'm able to break a lot of the walls that held me back in regards to the way I told my stories and the equipment and the quality I could provide to clients, and also even to my own personal standard of where I want to get to. I also wanted to introduce a section where I talk about movie recommendations from stuff that I've watched and stuff that I find really interesting. This week I wanted to talk about House of Ninjas. It's a Japanese series and it is really good. A lot of us watch Hollywood stuff and like Marvel and stuff like that, and just stuff we find on Netflix, but when you move to the Asian film scene, things really go crazy. So this week I'm going to recommend House of Ninjas. The cinematography is amazing, the shots are amazing, the grade is amazing, the story is amazing. It just leaves you on your toes the whole way. So for sure watch it. I'm hoping to do a lot more. I'm hoping to do them maybe on a 2-week basis, drop a video every 2 weeks, like 2 a month. Again, if you like what you see, say hi. No. If you like this sort of content and you're hoping to get more, please just do the and the, know what I'm saying? And yeah, everyone's gonna be happy. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the next one, and yeah, bless.